So hello there and welcome to another review of The Shield Doing a Couch. I'm your host Hector, and today we're going to talk about the new album by a band that can be considered the next big thing of Philadelphia. And no, I'm not talking about the Philly cheesesteak sandwich. I'm talking about the band Iatt. And Iatt is a band that has progressive black metal, uh, and that's what they play. That's the style of music that they play. And their new album is called Magnum Opus, which means the great work. So this is an album that has 9 songs, and it's almost, I think, almost an hour in length. It's not per se a concept album, but it is an album that is very rooted in what is alchemy, especially what in those centuries before was the process that the alchemists did to achieve the magnum opus. And it was all about blending those elements with the earth tones to ascend to a higher plane, if you will. And that is the themes that are running in this album. Like I said, per se, it's not a full concept album, but the running theme goes all along the record. And I must say that if you love progressive black metal, you will enjoy this album. This is an album that is very clean sounding. You can hear every instrument, every element in the album, very crisp. The production is very good. And that's something that I like about progressive black metal, because black metal in general, I'm not a huge fan, but when it's progressive black metal and they add those elements, I enjoy it more personally. That's my own taste. And with Magnum Opus, I can say that the band Iatt brings a lot to this musical genre. The album starts with Servitude and Subjugate, and that song starts with more violins. It starts very beautifully. You hear those violins and you hear all those instrumentation, and it really gets you pumped for what's coming. And then it goes into full-on black metal, but it always has that experimentation and prog throughout the song. The vocals of Jay Briscoe, the bass player of the band, are they're very black metal sounding with more death metal in some parts. But something that I liked about the vocals is that you can understand what he's singing, and to me that's important. And the song Servitude Subjugate goes into Auroburs, and Auroburs is a song that again starts with a lot of instrumentation, and it's the first song on the album to feature a saxophone. And the saxophone here in this song is used very interestingly, because it's used in a part, instead of having like a guitar solo, it's like a saxophone solo. And the solo with the saxophone goes on, and it goes with some great drumming, like fast blast beats. And it's just really a very outstanding track, and how the saxophone is used to blend into the elements of the progressive black metal, and not sounding out of place. I know that saxophone has been introduced in metal before, in the past, by bands like Emperor, and most recently Rivers of Nile has used it in some of their latest albums. But I like it when they use it sparingly, and not just using a saxophone for using it. There's other 3 songs on the album that use saxophone, but they all have a purpose in the song, and it doesn't retract from the song. For example, on Prima Materia, which is the 3rd song on the album, that's a song there's a lot of prog on that song, and again you hear more instrumentation. It starts with some piano, and has some more violins, I think, somewhere in the song. There's a lot of nuances that you get to pick up on the song. And at the 3.5 minute mark of that song, Prima Materia, we have a great saxophone part, and it's more slower, like very, you really feel like the saxophone is talking to you, and the song goes into a slower pace, and then it picks up. So it's like the middle part highlight. It reminds me, without the saxophone, but you remember Metallica Master of Puppets. in the end where it goes from all hard to it slows down, something like that. And I love it when I like a track that is so long, it's like 7.5 minutes, has some time to slow down and give it some breathing room. You don't have to be extreme metal all the time. You can take other elements, add it to the music, and I think it adds layers. And here, the saxophone, it just makes that middle part of the song is my favorite part of that song, and it really prepares you for the second half of that song. And then it goes into Elixir of Immortality, which is the fourth song. And it starts like you hear like a sound of like a chalice, or like it's like the part where the people are ready to do the magnum opus and do like a chant and all that alchemy thing. So that song starts with some sounds, and then it goes into pummeling progressive black metal, but again bringing other instruments into the mix, and making it work, making it interesting. And then the album goes to Elsculpate Exonerate, and that song starts with some rain, and you hear like the rain falling, and then the slow guitar starts, and it gives it like an earthy feeling, like you feel like you're there, like you are living the experience of being present where these people are practicing the alchemy. And the song also ends on that rain, so it's and the song is very fast paced, but I like it how they incorporate those elements and the violins and the saxophones, and make it all work, and giving it more, like I said, layers to the album. Then they go into the Murge, Architect of Disaster, and that song is a pummeling song, but there's a part of the song where you hear like people laughing, and there's just the little nuances that they add that enrich this song so much. I love that they add those things, because I think it shows how much they took time to work on this album. Then it's followed by Planes of Our Existence, which is an instrumental song, and that song has another saxophone solo that is just, it would make Kenny G proud, but in a metal kind of way. And that's just another song, great instrumentation, great guitar soloing on it, and it goes well into what is one of the highlights of the album, which is the song Seven Wandering Stars, and it has the lead singer of Iwata doing some guest vocals. And the guest vocals here, Iwata, you think like harsh black metal vocals, but no, he has some clean vocals on this, kind of operatic, and you're like taken aback. You're like, I didn't expect it at all, but it really works. And that's a song that could easily have been the album closer. They could have closed with that song, and I think it would have been great. But they add another song to finish the album, which is Cryoso Poesia, and that song has some. I don't know if they're horns, but it sounds like a jolly instruments blend into the progressive black metal, and it ends the album on a high note. I would have ended it with Seven Wandering Stars, because I think it's better than the other one, even though there's no weak tracks on this album. And like I said, if I have to nitpick something that I would say wrong about this album, I'm trying to see what I could say, but I think it's a great album altogether. I think you can show the experimentation of the band. You can show that they're using different elements and adding them to them, and just not having them there just to be there. They enrich the songs. So at the end of the day, Magnum Opus is a very, very good album. So if you don't know this band, I think this is a band you should check out. If you like prog black metal, check these guys out. And if you want to know more about this album, I had an interview with the bass player and singer of the band. It's going to be around here, and we go deeper into the album and other stuff, and it was very interesting. And this album comes out this Friday, so don't sleep on this band. And if you like my videos, don't forget to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe. I have more videos on the way. So until next time, this is Hector, the Shield doing a couch, and I'll see you right here on the couch. Thank you and good night.